Look, I think we can all agree that everyone is at least stressed out. There's more anxiety. There's more conflict in the world than there has been in most of recent history. Even to the extent that some people are saying there's more mental health problems than there ever has been. So, what we're going to do today in our series of observing that is look at things that we can do on a daily basis that might basically help us feel better. And every episode, we're going to have 3 or 4 things to do that don't take long, that are very easy to do, that might have an effect on improved well-being. So let's take a look at 3 things or 4 things we can do right now. And these may be difficult. Obviously, there's no requirement you have to do these, but it's worth trying to see what effect it has on you, if any. The first thing is take your mobile device, your phone, and put it someplace for 90 minutes. And do whatever it is you would normally do. Watch TV, go for a walk, walk around the house, clean the yard, whatever it is you would normally do it without your phone accessible to you. Put it in a drawer. You don't have to lock it up. You don't have to do anything crazy. But what is it like existing without that device? At first you might have anxiety. Where's my phone? I got to grab it. It's right here. If it's not within sight, some people get very nervous. But if you plan for a time when you're not going to be unsafe without your phone, you're not going to be out in the woods somewhere, you're not going to be a place where you need to make a call, or you don't have somebody that needs to reach you urgently, if there's a time when this is convenient, do it. And what's going to happen is you'll find that there are some things that you got used to using your phone for, maybe looking up information, maybe checking your email, checking your text, sending a post on Facebook. If you go for that hour, hour and a half, you'll find that, first of all, the world does not come to an end without it, and you'll find ways to cope without it. It's not going to be easy, and you're not going to want to do this all the time, but it's an exercise, just like working out on a treadmill, lifting weights, going for a walk. It's an exercise of your mind to figure out how your mind can exist without having that mental pacifier right there to look at a picture, to take a picture, to send a text. And you may find you realize some things that weren't obvious to you before. Try that out and see what happens. No phone for 1 hour, we call that. Another one is to try for 1 day to eat no sugar and no wheat. We're not doctors. We're not giving you medical advice. And we didn't even do any research on this. But there's a lot of people that say sugar and wheat are bad for you. Okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? Unless you have some medical or doctor's thing that you have to eat this. See what happens if you don't. It's an experiment. It's a test. Some people find they have a sense of well-being from doing this. And maybe make a note of how you feel. Maybe have cravings at first. Maybe you have anxiety because you can't reach for a donut. But see what happens if you don't eat sugar or wheat for 1 day. What's the worst that can happen? You're cranky at the end of the day. All right, you're cranky. Go back to eating sugar. Who cares? But at least you're trying things out. It's like you're doing your own research on yourself. Of course, don't do anything that's dangerous. Let's take a look at another. This one's a little more complicated, but it might be easier to do. Think of a person that is relatively close to you, a friend, a colleague, a coworker, a relative. And when you have some time when you'll be around that person for, at least 20 or 30 minutes, maybe you're driving somewhere, maybe you're at a ball game, maybe you're at a park, at a picnic, ask that person this question. Say, is there something that you love to talk about? A story, an experience, an opinion, just something you love to say out loud that you that you want to talk about more than you do, and you don't have an outlet to talk about it or to tell the story. Because all your friends that they've heard it a million times, and every time you bring the story up, they roll their eyes and groan, oh, not this again. Or maybe all the people you're friends with just don't understand this story. Or maybe they don't agree with you. Have the person think of a subject of conversation that's completely selfish to them. It's only what they want to talk about. Or maybe it's something that they, feel, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but just kind of bashful about saying because maybe it sounds egotistical. Maybe it's embarrassing. And, of course, do this within, the bounds of being appropriate. And have that person invite them to say, look, for the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes or however long you want to put into it, even 5 minutes, Just ramble on about that subject. Tell me that story. Ramble on about that opinion you have. Ramble on about whatever it is. Almost like I'm not here. Pretend that my presence has no bearing on this subject. Just stream of consciousness, just say it all out loud. And just sit there. Don't agree, don't disagree, don't have an opinion. You can shake your head. Yep, I heard that. You can acknowledge the conversation. But you're not there to offer support, advice, approval, judgment, whatever it is. You're just there to have that person say it out loud, get it off their chest. And at the end of that conversation, only ask one question. How did that feel like to be able to talk about that thing for 10 minutes? That's the only thing you want to know. How did they feel about it? Not how you felt about hearing it. How did they feel about saying it out loud? And once they give you that opinion, that exercise is over. Move on to the next thing. Now, you may find that it's annoying or, really kind of difficult to listen to somebody ramble on about something. But that's what you're offering them. You're giving them the gift of listening to that thing, whatever it is, without having to have an opinion or anything about it. And you find that being able to deal with somebody else just rambling about something based on your invitation is not as bad as it is when somebody forces something on you. They force you to listen to something or watch a show or whatever it is. You ask for it. And you're doing it in a place where you're ready to be okay with that for 10 minutes. As long as it's not dangerous or, obviously toxic. And see how they feel about it. You might find that you giving them that outlet creates more connection with you and that person. Worst case scenario, it's going to make them feel better. It gives them an outlet to talk about something that they have to keep bottled up. Look, you're not a counselor, you're not a therapist, but you're just letting that person speak about something. And they might take a big sigh of relief and appreciate you giving them that space. Doesn't matter if they say the same thing back to you, like you talk about something now. And if they do, decline right then. Say, well, maybe later I'll do that. But right now, it's not about tit for tat. It's not about, we have to be equal. I just wanted to give you the opportunity. Later on, if you want to do the exercise in reverse, that's fine. But do it at another time so it's not like an obligation. It's not like that you have to pay a price for doing this. And see how that goes. See what kind of exercise it is. Look, any one or all three of these things might turn out to be a disaster. You might hate it. But at least you're doing things in life. And you're trying something different. And you're looking at ways to engage with new, unique things that could create an improvement. Put in the comments below what you think about these, if you tried them. If you have a story you'd like to ramble on about, look on our website, and we have some outlets where you can ramble on about it. If you'd like us to give you that kind of an outlet, look for the link on the website, and we can do the same thing for you.